Good morning, everyone. It's Robert from On My Turntable. Hope you had a great morning this morning. It is Saturday morning, as always, a coffee kind of morning. Cheers, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. Watched a great show the other day on one of my favorite Canadian bands, Triumph. It's on HBO. Um, amazing, amazing stuff. And if you haven't seen it, definitely check them out. Shows from their beginnings right till the end, basically. Um, and I was really encouraged by that, especially the fans that really get into the lyrics of what Rick Emmett wrote. He wrote most of the lyrics. Inspirational, helping. One guy had stage whatever cancer, and the lyrics helped him through. Some people they got letters, stop me from committing suicide, and you know, just inspirational stuff. Again, so one of my favorite Canadian bands, one of my favorite bands, awesome power trio from Mississauga, Ontario, just on the edges of Toronto. That's where Pearson Airport is. Toronto Pearson Airport is in Toronto, in Mississauga. The band formed in 1975. They had 16 studio albums, 18 gold albums, 9 platinum albums in both Canada and the States. Nominated for Group of the Year in 79, 85, 86, and 87. Inducted into the Canadian Hall of Fame in 2007 and the Canadian Walk of Fame in 2019. A band that's made it both big in the States and Canada, obviously. Um, yeah, often compared to Rush. Obviously, Rush is that little power trio from Toronto that no one knows about, Rush. But these two, not that they were rivals, people just compared them because, again, oh, Triumph, another power trio from Toronto. But they made it big, actually, in San Antonio, Texas. Even though they were fairly big in Canada, they're one of the few that the show shows they were one of the few bands that had pyro in high school concerts, and a lot of schools banned them from bringing the pyro in because it was just too dangerous to start a fire. Huge, huge road show, and their studio actually is filled with all these lights and it's amazing, amazing stuff. But they made it big in San Antonio, Texas, when they replaced Sammy Hagar, who was headlining the show. And they did a 5 shows event in 1978. Then they headlined Canada Jam in 1978 as well, in front of 110,000 people. And then they played the U.S. Festival in front of about 250,000 people. There's videos all over with that one. They included big bands like Van Halen and The Clash and Ozzy. Big heavy metal stuff. Triumph went out and they knew they had to show the world what they were about, and they just blew the world apart with their stage presence. It was an amazing concert. It really, really was. So the trio features Gil Moore on drums and lead vocals. Amazing vocalist, amazing drummer. Mike Levine, bass player, keyboardist, backing vocals. Does some production as well on some of these albums. And Rick Emmett, of course, on lead rhythm guitar and lead vocals as well. Um, Gilmore and Rick Emmett kind of play off each other. Gilmore's got a deeper voice, Rick Emmett a higher pitched voice. Again, kind of like Geddy Lee, although Alex Lifeson doesn't sing, he does backing vocals, but or Neil Peart doesn't sing as well. But Gilmore's a great drummer as well as a great singer. Um, they after 9 albums, Rick Emmett would leave the band. He just got fed up and tired. He found he wasn't stretching his talent. He was constructed into the band structure, who became because of record companies and producers and everything else. They all want these hits, so they were forced to write all these hits. They didn't feel that they had the power anymore to continue. They weren't in control, and Rik Emmett just had enough and left the band. He was replaced by Phil X, who was a session player, and they did one album together, Edge of Excess, which I don't have. I'm missing 2 studio albums. In 2008, all 3 original members reunited for a Swedish concert, which was cool to see. They finally coerced Rik Emmett to come back. And they also, in 2019, did a 3-song performance in Toronto at their studio in front of all these fans, and the movie showed that as well. The fans were so excited, and most of the fans were from the States as well. Pictures and memorabilia all over the walls, and some hardcore fans. As I said, I don't have all their studio albums. I'm missing their debut album. I'll show you a picture of that one. Just self-titled Triumph. I haven't heard that one either, but one day I'll pick it up for sure. I do have 2 CDs and the rest out in vinyl. Their second album, Rock and Roll Machine. Okay. Great album. 1977 release. Contains their first big hit, which is a cover of Joe Walsh's Rocky Mountain Way. Kind of put them on the map. That's how the radio station in San Antonio heard them, through Rocky Mountain Way. And this one was produced by bassist Mike Levine as well. But great album. I've got to get a better copy of this one. One day I will again. But yeah, it takes time bringing it on home. Little Texas Shaker. There's The City, which is a 3-parter on this one. Rocky Mountain Way, of course, and the title track, Rock and Roll Machine, which is 6 minutes and 53 seconds long on this one. Fine album. Just a Game. Okay. This is their 3rd studio album, released in 1979. 2 huge hits on this one, Lay It on the Line and Hold On. Kind of put them on the map again with these 2 huge singles. Only 8 tracks on here, but Hold On, 6 minutes, pretty long. Just a Game, Fantasy Serenade, Sweet Case Blues, Moving On, Lay It on the Line, Young Enough to Cry, American Girls. Fine album. Just a Game. Then we have their 4th 1980s Progression of Power. There's a photo of the guys. There's the back cover. Sorry, that's the inner. No, is that the inner sleeve or the back cover? That's the inner sleeve. That's the inner sleeve. Back cover's kind of hokey actually, but the inner sleeve, I like the inner sleeve better. Shows a better photo of the band. But yeah, this is a great album. 1980 release, their 4th album. I Can Survive, I Live for the Weekend are the singles off of this great album. You got Woman of Love, Take My Heart, Tear the Roof Off, Finger Talkin', Hard Road, I Can Survive, In the Night, Nature's Child, I Live for the Weekend. Good stuff. Progression of Power. And we have, this is a fairly recent pickup for me as well. This is a new copy of Allied Forces, one of my favorite albums. There's a better picture of the guys, featuring Montreal Canadiens jersey on Rik Emmett there. They were huge with their pyro, with their lighting shows. Uh, yeah, cool stuff. It's the 35th anniversary edition of this one. But fine, fine album. 1981 release, their fifth album. Huge, huge album, as I said. Magic Power and Fight the Good Fighter, the two big hits off of this one. But Fool for Your Love, Magic Power, Air Raid, Allied Forces, Hot Time in the City Tonight. It's not my favorite track. Fight the Good Fight, Ordinary Man, Petite Etude, and Say Goodbye. Yeah, if they took Hot Time in the City off of this one, this would be a banger. But it's still a great album for sure, for sure. And then we have I've got to get a better version of this one as well. This is Never Surrender. Okay, this case is actually broken, so I said I haven't taken care of, and it's just a cheap version of the. So I've got to get a better copy of Never Surrender for sure. Their sixth album, 1982 release. Excuse me. Big, big hit, Never Surrender, the title track, and All the Way. Also have a World of Fantasy on this one. Too Much Thinking, Minor Prelude, Battle Cry, Overture, When the Lights Go Down, Writing on the Wall, and Epilogue, Resolution. Never Surrender. Then we have their seventh, Thunder 7. Cool cover on that one. 7 studio album, 1984 release. Follow Your Heart, big, big single. One of the highest charting singles of the band as well. Of course, at this time, they were all over Much Music, all over what's the Canadian version, or is that the Canadian version? They were all over the internet and TV with their hits and their videos. Some of the videos are kind of hokey, but that's how producers visioned some of the songs. They didn't have much control on their videos, and some of them they wish they could get rid of. But yeah, MTV. Thank you. That's what I'm thinking of. MTV. Much Music is the Canadian version. MTV is the U.S. version. What do we have? What do we have here? Then I've got what is this one here? Here we go. This is The Sport of Kings. Another great, great album. The Sport of Kings. 1986 released their 8th studio album. Recorded in the band's own studio, Metalworks Studio, which is huge. It's more of a warehouse than it is a studio. And again, another big, big hit, Somebody's Out There. That song stayed on the chart for 27 weeks, both in Canada and the U.S. So yeah, lovely album, love it. This is Surveillance. Okay, this is their 9th studio album, released in 1987. This would be the last to feature Rik Emmett. As I said earlier, he just had enough. He wasn't happy in the band. The band was very upset at him at the time as well. They didn't really speak to each other for quite a long time, but they knew they couldn't work without each other. So he did return in 2008. No singles off this one, but it's still a great album. You got Prologue into the Forever, Never Say Never, Heading for Nowhere, All the King's Horses, Carry on the Flame, Let the Light Shine on Me, Long Time Gone, Rock You Down, Prelude, The Walk, The Waking Dream, On and On, All Over Again, and Running in the Night. I don't have their 10th album that featured Phil X, but I don't think he fit into the band, and it didn't last long. But 1992 release. I've got a picture of that album up here. Um, there was one song that did make a movie soundtrack, Troublemaker. It was in 1992's Hellraiser 3, Hell on Earth. And finally, I've got a great double live album, Stages. Okay, features all their hits. 1985 release. Featuring tracks, live performances from 1981 to 1984. There's the boys there. Yeah, When the Lights Go Down, Never Surrender, Allied Forces, Hold On, Magic Power, Rock and Roll Machine, Lay It on the Line, another big hit. A World of Fantasy, Drumir Selbo, Midsummer's Daydream, Spellbound, Follow Your Heart, Fight the Good Fight, Mind Games, and Empty Inside. Yeah, cool stuff. So there you have it, guys. There's my look at Triumph, one of my favorite Canadian bands. I've got many, but this is an amazing band. If you don't know these guys, definitely check them out. But have yourself a great rest of the day. Love you all. We'll talk to you again soon. Bye now.